Hey, friendo, Steve here. Welcome back to Wrestle Juice. I got some bad news for you. Logan Paul is totally winning Money in the Bank. Let's talk about it. It's time for my Wrestle Juice Money in the Bank predictions. That's right. We got 7 matches going down in London this Saturday. If you're on the West Coast here in the Americas, it's going to be going down at noon. If you're on the East Coast, it's going to be 3 p.m. If you're over there in London, England, it's going to be going down, I guess, at 8 o'clock. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Anyways, we got 7 matches on the card. Let's start with men's Money in the Bank. We got Logan Paul, Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, LA Knight, Damian Priest, Butch, and Santos Escobar. So I did a video, I don't know, like a month ago or so, where I sort of broke down who I think was going to win Money in the Bank. For some reason, I thought that Drew McIntyre would be a bad guy and he would win Money in the Bank. And then I think I had Finn Balor in second place. Mind you, this is before a lot of people were actually announced for Money in the Bank. I think there was only like 3 people at the time, and I thought those were good options. Now, there's 3 people right now who seem to be the favorites: LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Logan Paul. Let's focus on them for a moment here. If WWE really wants to go down the best story route, they'll go with Damian Priest. I think they probably view Damian Priest as a guy who can carry the ball potentially, but he's also been dropping a lot of matches lately. He's been losing a lot lately, which isn't abnormal for Mr. Money in the Bank to lose before winning Money in the Bank, and quite frankly, losing after Money in the Bank. See Austin Theory just recently. But in Damian Priest's case, he was also kept out of like the whole summit thing they did a couple weeks ago, which was kind of noticeable. He's had some high profile matches, but he's also taken some clean losses against, for example, this past week, a guy like Cody Rhodes. He's also been maybe on the road to a face turn, or at least distancing himself from Judgment Day, asking them to stay away during his matches. What that means, I'm not exactly sure, but I could see them going with Damian Priest, and then maybe if that match happens early and Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship comes a little bit later, maybe he cashes in, makes that a 3-way. Maybe he cashes in after Rollins wins and he comes away with the World Heavyweight title. Or maybe Finn Balor wins the title and Damian Priest wins the briefcase, and then you have tension within Judgment Day. I think all those scenarios are really, really interesting. And given that WWE is really high on Judgment Day, I could see any of those scenarios happening. LA Knight, I just don't see happening because I don't know that WWE is convinced LA Knight is a real thing yet. I know he's had a couple of wins lately, and they can't deny that the crowd loves LA Knight, but I just don't know if WWE thinks there's anything there, if you know what I mean. I don't know if they just think the crowd thinks, oh, this guy's got a good catchphrase, yeah, and he can talk, or if they think, hey, there's something here that we can work with. I just don't get that sense quite yet. So I feel like he's in third place. And number 1, they got this big TV deal contract coming up. They're going to be negotiating that soon. So I kind of feel they're going to be going big exposure. We need this briefcase right here to be seen in front of millions and millions of people. And Logan Paul can get that done. They can probably worry about how to handle his actual cash in at another time. But in the meantime, until they get that contract, I kind of feel like they want that briefcase. They want the brand. They want their name to be out there. And if he has this briefcase on his Impulsive show or the videos that his brother does or whatever they do, I don't watch any of that stuff. But I understand that it gets a really large audience. I think WWE would be really, really happy with that. So it's like, why not just put the title on him now and worry about the cash-in shit later? It could be a big surprise come SummerSlam or Survivor Series, the Royal Rumble, or maybe even WrestleMania. I don't know. I don't think they know or really care about what to do with that right now. So yeah, I kind of feel like Logan Paul is going to be the guy who gets that briefcase. It's not like they've really done much with the briefcase of note recently. Literally last year, Austin Theory lost his cash in when he attempted to cash in on Seth Rollins' United States Championship. That was kind of the lowest of the low when it came to the Money in the Bank briefcase. So it's not like I don't think they're like, oh my God, this thing really needs to be treated with any amount of seriousness. And maybe they can do it in the women's match. Let's talk about the women's match here. We've got Io Sky. We've got Bayley, both from Damage Control, Trish Stratus and Zoe Stark. We've got Zelina Vega and Becky Lynch. Now, I saw this on Twitter, so I'm going to steal this. I forget who pointed this out. But I think that even though right now Io Sky is in the lead, they haven't really been focusing too much on damage control. They literally pulled Bayley's match against Shotzi, putting her spot on the line from SmackDown a couple weeks ago. So I really don't think it's going to be a damage control year to win Money in the Bank. As much as I would love to see Io Sky versus Asuka, I don't really see it happening. I don't really see Zelina Vega, although that's a possibility. I think there's one person in this match who literally has someone who can help her, and that person is Trish Stratus. She has Zoe Stark in her corner in the match. So if it comes down to Trish Stratus, Becky, and Zoe Stark, guess what? Trish Stratus is going to get that briefcase. I could see that happening. I think Trish Stratus is going to be around for a little while, and I think they understand, hey, this is the one thing Becky Lynch hasn't accomplished. Let's go ahead and put it on Trish Stratus to forward their feud even more. Maybe they can do a thing where at SummerSlam they have a blow-off match where Trish puts Money in the Bank on the line and Becky can win it there. I don't know that they're going to do that, but I see it as a possibility there, as opposed to Trish cashing in, let's say, on Asuka. I don't think anybody's cashing in on Rhea Ripley. That shit is not happening. Hey, what's going on? This is Stone Cold Steve Austin impersonator Phil McDonald. Do you want new Russell Juice merch? We've got it over at friendoshop.com, and right now you can use code PURPLE to save 20% off site-wide, and you get yourself a new Russell Juice hat or the new King Russell Juice logo shirt. Go to friendoshop.com right now or get hit with a stutter. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next match. Riddle versus Gunther. Yeah, I don't see any way Riddle's going to win this thing. This is Gunther's all the way. I mean, this is the one foregone conclusion match in this entire thing. There's really no need to talk about it. Riddle is basically a depth guy, but he's a depth guy on pay-per-view right now. Let's move on. Cody Rhodes versus Dom Mysterio. This one's kind of interesting. I think Cody Rhodes is going to win this. However, I also have no doubt that Brock Lesnar is going to show up in London, and he's going to do one of two things. He's either going to show up when there's a ref bump and F5 both Cody and Dom, and then maybe drape Dom on Cody, or he's just not going to give a shit and he's going to leave, in which case Cody still might win this match. But I think what might be more likely is Cody wins the match outright, and then after the match, Brock Lesnar attacks. He F5s both these guys, motivating the third match for SummerSlam, and Dominic Mysterio can get on the mic after that and be like in his next promos and say, I would have had Cody Rhodes, but Brock Lesnar interfered, even though that's not really the case. He can, because he's a bad guy, he can lie about it. So, yeah, I think Cody's going to win this match, and I think we're going to get some Brock Lesnar here at the end. That seems to be kind of a Triple H finish anyways, is that he gets the desired outcome, and then he gets the heat back with a big angle setup after the match. That's sort of how I see this going. Let's move on here to the women's tag titles. Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey taking on the challengers Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan, who made her big return this past week on Monday Night Raw. Dude, they just won these titles. They just unified these titles like a couple weeks ago. So I don't see them losing right now to Raquel and Liv. Maybe they can motivate this for a feud between Liv and Raquel. There's still a really relatively, I'm not going to say really, I'll say relatively. There are other tag teams in the women's tag team division that can step up over the next couple months. And I kind of just feel like maybe Raquel and Liv are going to end up in a feud against each other. Maybe Liv can place the blame for not only this loss, but also her losing out on a couple months, her injury on Raquel Rodriguez, maybe. I don't know. But in any event, I don't see the titles changing hands here. I think Ronda and Shayna are going to keep these titles for a little while as the division gets more established and as more teams sort of are formed and are able to be built up. But right now, they're a dominant team. I don't think that's going to change. Next match we've got on the card, of course, Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. I would love to see this match happen later on in the card. Of course, Finn Balor with some really killer promos as of late. That film promo they did on Raw, I thought was really, really good. The pessimistic side of me says they're just going to go with another Seth Rollins victory. However, given that they are not that far away from Ireland, and I'm sure there's probably going to be plenty of Irish people there in attendance. This is an opportunity for them to really blow the roof off the place with a Finn Balor win, and then maybe complicate things with Damian Priest's Money in the Bank briefcase. I still think that's a distinct possibility. However, in this case, I think it might be more likely that Rollins wins. Damian Priest wins the briefcase, even though no one knows it's going to be Logan Paul. And they just do nothing with this. I feel like it's either Finn and Damian both win, or Logan Paul wins and Seth Rollins wins outright, and then Judgment Day just has to deal with it. Seth Rollins is going to win this match. Right now in the betting odds, he is a massive favorite. That's not to say they can't do this, but I feel like you're going to have that entire, what's the place called? The O Arena? What is this place called? I forget. Anyways, they're going to have the entirety of the London crowd singing Seth Rollins' song. Yeah, I think that's going to happen. Seth Rollins win this match. And of course, we got the main event. Roman and Solo, the Bloodline versus the Usos, former Bloodline. It's a Bloodline Civil War. Who will be the ones? Right now, according to the betting odds, the Usos are the favorites, and I feel like they should win this match. We talked about this over at Going In Raw. Larson had said he feels that Jey Uso is going to pin Roman Reigns. That'll be really, really interesting if they actually do that. It'll be another step towards Roman completely sort of losing his shit, and it could motivate Jey versus Roman at SummerSlam. My general thesis is never bet against the Bloodline, although they have taken losses recently. Of course, against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens recently. I feel like the Usos are going to win this match. I feel like it's not going to be Roman's summer. He's got to defend that title at SummerSlam, and what better way to kick this up a notch than the Usos win here? I guess they could do Roman versus Solo. Roman and Solo win here, and then Jey, sort of in a last desperate attempt for relevancy, says, hey, Roman, put your title up at SummerSlam. Roman is really easily manipulated too. So I could see that being a possibility, Jey versus Roman going down at SummerSlam. But I feel like the best way to motivate that here, and Jey and Jimmy are really, really hot right now, so you really want to pop the crowd in the main event, because this is totally going to be the main event. It has its own graphic, is have the Usos win. So I think the Usos win here. I think Solo probably eats the pin. I don't know if they're going to have Roman eat the pin in advance of him actually losing the title, because whoever pins Roman that's going to be a big, big deal. I don't think they're going to sort of half-ass it. So that's what I think. Solo eats the pin. Jey pins him. And there you have it. The Usos win. Those are my thoughts about Money in the Bank. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. I will be watching this show live, of course, over at the Going In Raw channels, twitch.tv/Steven Larson and youtube.com/Steve and Larson. So please join us for that. It's always a lot of fun. We also have a big predictions challenge going on for Money in the Bank. All you got to do is go to patreon.com/Steven Larson and join for the $5 tier and up, or you can go to youtube.com/Steven Larson and click join and become a channel member over there. Thanks for watching. Check out this video over here.